Hello everybody, Kaiser here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Figma released Ruby Rose figure from the anime RWBY. And to be more specific, for those who know, RWBY is actually from a web series on YouTube called RWBY by the same name, and then it's made by Rooster Teeth. And this one right here, the Figma, is mostly representing the anime stylized version, which is known as the Ice Queendom, for those that want to take a look at it. So as you can see, the features are more anime-esque than the 3D ones we're normally used to seeing. For those interested in displaying their boxes, this one is a pretty nice one, I would say. It's very reminiscent of the character, as it's mostly red and black, which are her colors. And then also at the back, I don't know if you guys can see, there is a rose symbol, which is RWBY symbol throughout the show. Throughout the box, there's her in different poses on the side and then on the other side as well. And then on the back, you see her in a variety of different poses. And it says a bunch of different things right here, but since this figure was imported, I have no idea what it says. And also for those of you that are interested in displaying many boxes together, I will say that this one is a little bit larger than the usual Figma boxes. I have a Figma Cinnamon over here from the Gun Gale version of Sword Art Online. And as you can see, they are about the same size, but the RWBY one is much larger on width wise. As you can see, it's, I would say, about 1/3 larger than the Sino one, and I have no idea why they did it like that. I'm pretty sure they could just grab the weapons and then put it behind her, just like Sino has her sniper rifle right on the back. But, you know, neither here nor there. But also for those of you that also enjoy SH figure arts, here's an Awakening Goku. As you always know for sure, if you collect figures, Figma boxes are much bigger than SH figure art boxes. Even more so this one, which is larger than the usual Figma box. And then here it is. So nevertheless, it's a pretty good box. You can see her whole figure over here. Maybe that the reason why they did is so you can see the figure plus the weapon, which I think is pretty nice. But if you don't have a lot of space, you might have a little trouble displaying this one. Also, for those of you interested, this is how the box looks without the figure inside of it. As you can see, the rose on the back that symbolizes RWBY. Guys, if you're a fan of RWBY, I would say this is definitely a must get, man. Look how she looks. Look, it looks like she came straight from the anime. Her cape, amazing. Even though it's hard plastic, it has ball joints that can lift up like this. You can make her be in some crazy poses, lift it and flip it any way you want to. But we can keep that to the articulation part. Otherwise, this is how she looks normally. Straight from the package. Her black dress with red accents. Her silver eyes, but I would say the main problem with her, if you can even call it a problem, it's her hair is totally black. If I remember correctly, in the anime as well as in the web series, she has red accents on her hair, but my memory may be failing me right now. But otherwise, she looks like a 1-to-1 representation from how she looks in the Ice Queendom anime. When it comes to the articulation, as you guys can see, there is a peg hole over here to put in the stand, but this cape is also removable, so it won't hinder her arms, just in case you want to do like a pose in which she's not wearing the cape. But I guess why would you? Otherwise, she has a little bit of a hard time lifting her arms through the cape. You can literally put her holding the scythe in this position. You don't need to lift her arm too much to do so, since her range of motion when it comes to her elbows are fairly large. This little joint right here is very circly, but I guess it works. It doesn't look that bad since her whole dress is mostly black also. you get definitely more than 90 degrees from this joint. Her legs, she has a little waist skirt thing. I wouldn't say it's totally hard, but it's not really soft either. She can kick about this much forward, and this skirt kind of stops her right about right here, and she can kick about this much back. So back and forward, she can do about this much. Side by side, let me lift up the cape. She can basically do the splits without a problem. Her knees are, I wouldn't say double jointed, but you can easily get 90 degrees out of it, so it's not so bad. Another issue that I found was that she seems like she has no ankle rocker in no way, shape, or form. She only has a forward and back movement off of the joint. I'm not sure if you can even rotate the joints inside of that, but I won't even try it. Not sure if she has a tie swivel. She does not have a tie swivel from what I can see. The insides, it's a ball peg. It's a double ball peg, I think, that connects her hips to her torso area. It kind of extends, maybe to allow, oh, there it is. If you extend it, you can do a more forward kick. And I assume you can also do a more backward kick motion by doing the same thing. You can go about this much if you drop down on the hip area. Otherwise, it just fits in perfect. And then her poses are very limited. So make sure you drop the hip and you get some more articulation out of there if you do that. Let me remove this cape so you guys can see how she looks without the cape on. Without the cape on, she can do a 360, no problem. She can lift up her arm about this much without the cape on. She has very little side-by-side movement at her chest. She can't really lean forward. That's as much as she will lean. And then backwards, that's how much she will go. When it comes to her head, let me drop it down her arms. There is no neck movement now that I see at all. All you are able to do is move her head 360. She can't look up. What? But she can't look down about this much. But that's as far up as she will look, which is a little interesting. I haven't had a Figma in a long time, so that might be the reason for. I think I'm getting too spoiled with SH Figure Arts. But other than that, that's how much her articulation works. When it comes to the accessories, RWBY comes with this 2 stylish pose hands from the package, but she also has all of these hands, which means she has about 10 hands or 5 pairs of hands. She has this angle hand, this stylish hand, there's another grabby hand right here, and then normal fist hands. For the other accessory, as you guys already seen, she has this cape. It has this ball joint over here, which allows for a 360 and up and down movement at the joint. Not much down movement unless you do this, but I don't think you will need to. To its max spread out, it will be about this much, but I think you can do something like that to make it seem like the cape is flowing a little bit, or you can just hide it one on top of the other like so. She comes with 2 faces on the box and one on her. which is this yelling attacking face and this wink face, which I would say is my favorite. It really shows her personality. But mine came, no, it's just a little piece of dirt. So it's perfect. It shows the personality very well. So can't really complain about that. And her smiley face, I would say. I've seen her basic face is always very happy. So yeah. So as you guys can see, a winking face. And then also a angry yelling face. But the part that everybody was probably waiting for, here's her crescent moon. Excuse me, not crescent moon. What am I talking about? Crescent rose. It's very nicely made. I gotta give it to Figma. This is a very, very, very nicely and well made weapon. The only problem I can see, it looks kind of flimsy. So hopefully it won't like break around the top area. Because this part is very heavy. Not very heavy, but I would say heavier than the bottom part for sure. I don't think if you drop it, it will break. But try to be careful with it. So it has the full scythe version of the crescent rose. But they also have, I'll say, the gun rifle version of the crescent rose. She can definitely hold on to it like so, and over here as well, and shoot with it. There's nothing to shoot from, but it's also very well made, just like the scythe form. And then grabbing RWBY as well, just to see some size comparisons. It's very large in comparison to her, which is how it's supposed to be in the show and on the web series. So I'm glad about that. So I'm gonna come back with her holding the scythe just to see if she's able to handle it, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Okay guys, after handling the figure for a little bit, I can tell you how I feel about it. As you can see in this standing pose, she looks beautiful, just like the character should look like. But one thing that I figured out, you really gonna need this stand if you want to do almost any sort of like position using the crescent rose. This is too heavy. She can barely hold it when she's holding down here. When she's holding up here, she can hold it a little bit better, but still the peg on her arm, it's so tiny and so weak that she cannot handle the crescent rose, even if I do it like so. Just putting her arm forward like this, it will go down, and then you can kind of use the dress if you want to keep it in this position or so, and the dress will leverage it out for you, but otherwise she's not able to handle that at all. Oh, I guess if you put her hands like this, she just proved me wrong. When I was playing with it, she did not stay. But as you can see, she's staying with it pretty well now. But she is not that strong to hold it, which kind of makes sense since she's so long. But if you just use the dress to leverage it out, you can make many cool poses with it, and without a problem. And it comes with the stand, so you can do some flying poses. Any of the crazy maneuvers that you can do or that you see her do in the anime/web series, you can easily do with this character as well. This figure right here is pretty amazing. As a fan, I can say I hate it. The only aspects that I wish it was a little bit better, she could stand a little bit more. Since she has no ankle side-by-side movement, it's really hard to make her stand on her own. But I guess since they knew you were going to be using the stand so much, they just didn't really bother for it. I really enjoyed the drop down hip movement. It allows for such a much more higher kick and side by side movement with the legs, so it's really nice. I wish there was a little bit more articulation when it comes to the knee joint, a little bit more than 90 degrees, but I guess it would do for Figma. The neck really let me down. Having no movement going up and going down, barely anything at all. Having no neck joint in any way is kind of a bummer. What else did I notice for you guys? Yeah, also you're not gonna get any movement from this torso portion of RWBY. It's very blocky over here, so unfortunately there's not much you can do about that. One thing I do gotta let you know while handling this figure, be extremely careful. It says that on the manual many times over, be extremely careful to put her hand here. Just use some hot water, a blow drying machine, just finagle her hand slowly into a position where she can hold the weapon, and you should be fine. But otherwise, it's very heavy, it's very gentle. You will either probably break the peg or you will break the weapon in some way. So be careful when you do that. But other than that, if you're a RWBY fan, this figure right here is for sure 100% a must-have. If you enjoy action figures, this is the figure for you. There's really no better figure than this one when it comes to RWBY. Like I don't know if they made other action figures. I don't think I was heavily into action figures if they did make one back in the day. But this one right here, it fits all of my needs perfectly well. I have no complaints besides the one I told you guys about. A little more detail on the hair, like I said, more neck movement, feet movement. But other than that, the gun is flawless, the collar is flawless. Everything else is how I expect it to be. I can really complain about Figma when it comes to the detail and artistic style. They nail that. Articulation, they hit or miss. And then also for the price point, I don't think she was that expensive. Maybe now you'll be able to find her a little bit more expensive or a little cheaper. I'm not sure how much she is right now, but you can take a look. Other than that, I already have Wise on pre-order, so when that comes, I'll make another video. But other than that, I highly recommend this figure if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, it's up to your discretion. But other than that, have a good one, guys. See ya.